Hi guys, what's going on? Happy New Year to everybody. Today I'm going to take a different route with my video. I'm going to talk about a true crime story. I kind of like those. Today I'm going to go through a true crime story that happened in my hometown, the town of Amityville, Long Island. And if you guessed it, it's the Amityville Horror. Okay? So, I'm going to preface the story by saying that these are things that I and all of us who grew up in the village of Amityville, or the town, as we like to call it, we were told by the adults who remember what happened that night. I was about a year old when this happened, so I don't remember anything. My mom remembers, my sisters remember because they were about 7 or 8 when it happened, so I don't remember. But all of us who were not old enough to remember were told stuff, okay? The story of the Amityville Horror, or the DeFeo murders, happened at about, I think it was November 13th, 1974, which, if you guessed what I just said about me being a year old, suggests how old I am. But, whatever. Who cares? Don't judge me, okay? But the story goes that on November 13th, 1974, Ronnie Butch DeFeo Jr., as he was called, he was known as Butch. He was also known as the town bully. He, one night on November 13th, murdered his entire family. The timeline of it that we were told was he was the town bully. He tormented kids throughout the neighborhood. All of the kids that grew up with him knew him as the town bully. He was also a known drug addict. He was also an alcoholic. Okay. So on November 13th, or I don't know, the timeline was that he had gotten into a fight with his parents, verbal altercation type fight, about God knows what. I don't know. Nobody knows. They fought. And so he went down to the local bar, and the bar was actually at the end of our street, because we have what is known as it's a strip mall type thing at the end of our street. It's a little shopping center thing. There's only 5-ish stores. There's a pizzeria and a deli, and at that time there was a bar. When I was growing up, there was a little restaurant type thing where the bar used to be. But he had gotten into a fight with his parents that day. Butch got into a fight and went down to the bar that night, drank himself sick, I guess. He got drunk. On top of him being a known drug user, he remembered the fight with his parents from that day and went home, got his shotgun, which nobody knows why he had a shotgun, how he got the shotgun. Don't ask that question because I don't know. But he just got a shotgun, and shot his entire family. Why the entire family? No one really knows why. He was a drug addict, and he had been drinking on top of probably had been doing drugs. That's probably what the fight was about. Him doing drugs. Them catching him doing drugs. Okay. So he snapped and murdered his entire family. Went back down to the bar after murdering his family and said, I murdered my entire family. You gotta come see. I killed them all. And there were people nah, come on, you're drunk. Nah, get out of here, you idiot. No. I killed them all. You gotta come. You gotta come. So some of the patrons like followed him down the street or up the street to his house, found the murders, and one of the patrons of the bar that followed him called 911, and he got arrested for murdering his family and went to jail. And as far as I know, he recently died of cancer a few years ago, I guess. So, yeah, he's dead. But, and a lot of the older people can tell you that they cordoned off the street and you had to go around the other way to you had to prove that you lived on the street. You had to show your ID, your address, let the cops know, oh yeah, I live on the street, okay. Yeah. Because there were people, like stupid people, that would come and try to find your house and look at the house and, oh my God, because there was a bar at the end of the street. Drunk people are stupid. But that's the story of the Amityville Horror. Some kid, 22 years old, went on a bender, probably drugged out of his mind because he was on drugs, and murdered his entire family. Now, there is some reports that said that the 18-year-old's daughter, Dawn, who's younger than he, she's the second youngest in the family, one after Butch, that she actually did it, and that he killed her in self-defense. There was reports of gunpowder on her dress, but I don't know whether that's true or not because there's not enough concrete evidence to suggest that, yes, true, she legitimately did this and framed him. So that those reports are reports, they exist, but again, there's no concrete evidence enough to pursue the fact that she did it instead of him. So we have to let that be, as it were. I'm not going to get into the Lutz family. That was the family that was in the Amityville Horror movies that was made about the book. Their story. That's not part of the murders that happened. That was a completely separate story. So I'm not getting into that. Because that's not important to the mass murders that happened. That's not important to the DeFeo murder. That's not part of their story. So we need to let that be a separate story. So the Lutz boys have said their side of the story. They have spoken out on what happened. They have said what they thought it was. So, and may they rest in peace. Mr. and Mrs. Lutz are gone. May they rest in peace. They have died. So, just the Lutz side of the story is not a separate story. So we're not getting into that. I don't want to get into that because that's not important. The important thing is that neighbors of us, townspeople, were murdered by one of their own. And as someone who grew up in a small town, and as a lot of you who live in a small town know that these kind of murders, or murders in general, sometimes they don't happen in towns like this. We're a village. We may call it a town. A lot of us, I grew up calling it a town because that's just what we call it. But it's a village. It population less than 10,000, it's a village. And so things like that don't happen in our town. Our police department in our town wasn't equipped for this because we have like one car. We're not a police force. We're not like the Suffolk County Police, which is a county police force. So they weren't equipped for this kind of thing. So of course they had to call in Suffolk County, which was equipped. So that's what happened to that. But that's really what it is. And that's really what it boils down to. A 22-year-old drug addict got drunk, went on a bender, and murdered his entire family for reasons only known to him. He can claim until his death that the devil made him do it, that he was possessed. You were a drug addict. that's being hopped up on drugs. Yeah. So he can claim the devil made him do it all he wants. He was a known drug addict. So that's really what it is. And as someone who grew up in the town, as someone from the town, I'm very proud of my town. I was born and raised in a beautiful little yachting, boating, waterfront town. I love my town. But I don't want it being associated with the supernatural section of the story. Because that's not the real, that's only part of the story. And it's not necessarily, for me, an important part of the story. What's important was some people got murdered by one of their own. That's it. A family was destroyed by one of their own who was a drug addict. That's the story of the Amityville Horror. And I don't want people to think that that's not an important part of the story. That is the story. So I just wanted to talk about that. I just want to tell you that because it's something that's close to me, something that's close to my heart, something that as a member of the town, as a townsperson, as a neighbor of these people, I knew this story. I was told this story numerous times. Not all of us know the story. You ask anybody who's from the town the story of the DeFeo murders, they'll tell you. But Butch murdered his entire family. That's it. He murdered his family. Because that's really what it boils down to. He murdered his family. Drugs are not fun. Drugs make you do stupid shit. So, I just wanted to talk about that because it's true crime. And I like true crime. And that's something that I was born knowing about. So, that's my story. That's the true crime story of the Amityville Horror. So if any of you made it to this point, like, comment, and subscribe. Please. And I'll see you when I see you in the next video. Hopefully I have something cool for you next time. Bye.